Hello everyone, welcome to Court with Krissy. Here are 4 court shorts you probably didn't catch. And this time around, it's all traffic. My favorite part, raise your right hand. You'll know it when you see it. I hope you like it. Court with Krissy is now in session.
Hello?
Oh, what is your name?
Moin Falahi.
Okay. Your ticket, sir, is
M-O-E-I-N.
26BE01780. The ticket was issued on the 11th day of April at about 2:09 in the afternoon. You were cited failed to yield to a pedestrian in the area of Coolidge Highway and Franklin. You can either admit or deny responsibility for the civil infraction, or you can admit responsibility with an explanation. How do you wish to proceed, sir?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Could you explain one more time to me?
Are you here to admit or to deny failing to yield to a pedestrian?
No, I don't deny, but I'm an full-time Uber driver.
Hang on. You told me you didn't deny. Are you admitting or denying failing to yield to the pedestrian?
Yeah, I did pass, but that was the time the light just went on and I was
Are you admitting or denying? Doggone it. I don't think this is that complicated. Are you admitting or denying responsibility for the citation?
No, I did. Yes,
don't tell me no.
Are
you admitting or denying?
I don't deny.
You don't deny. Therefore, you do admit.
Yeah, I admit. Yes, I did make a mistake. Yeah.
Then what is your explanation, please?
My explanation is I was Ubering and
we won't hold that against you.
I'm sorry?
I'm not going to hold that against you.
Okay, thank you. When I got to the line where for the pedestrian, the light went on suddenly and the people, they were still on the other side. So I didn't think even police gonna stop me for that because the car behind me should have stopped. I mean, I was right at the line when the light went on. I was going to pick up my ride. You know, I'm a full-time. I have a clean record. I'm a full-time Uber driver, and I've been doing Ubering a little over 3 years full-time because of my son has autism, and I couldn't keep my career, and I had to find a job that I can do, take care of my son, and be on call for him whenever he needs me. That's the only reason I'm doing Uber full time, and I'm a good driver. I'm on the road in Metro Detroit at least 10, 11 hours every day. And as you know, as you see, I'm sure you see, I have a clean record. And when I got to the line, light went on right suddenly. I didn't want to stop the car, suddenly, and other cars behind me distracted and hit me. And the people, they were just other side. They didn't even start walking yet.
Falahi, how does the light change suddenly?
I'm sorry?
The lights change on an absolutely predictable sequence. There's nothing sudden about how a traffic signal cycles.
I saw that. I was paying attention to my driving because the speed limit over there in that road is like 20 or 25. And I suddenly saw it went on, and I mean, I really appreciate you if you forgive me. I'm willing to pay the fee. I just can't afford having points on my ticket, on my driver license because of my job. It's really important. I can't do anything else besides Uber and Uber Eats now with my son's situation. Your Honor, I really appreciate you.
Is there anything you want to add to this, sir?
Your Honor, just to clarify, the traffic signal, it's a crosswalk, was activated well before he got to the intersection, and the pedestrian was midway across the street when he passed by. And I have video to actually show that as well.
Mr. Falahi, I believe that you correctly admitted responsibility, sir, and the fine for this is $145. The fine is payable to the court. You can pay it online or by mail or at the window in the courthouse. Or as to the points do not come from the court, they come from the Secretary of State. I can't make the points for any given infraction different than what the Secretary of State says they are. The points are what they are. The fine does need to be paid. You are good to go, sir. Thank you.
I would appreciate you if you.
Thank you, and we're here in the matter of City of East Lansing versus Ali Mohammed, case number E50229610, okay, for an informal hearing on the parking ticket for no parking zone. And Officer Lurch, you're present via Zoom. Can you hear and see me and Mr. Mohammed in the courtroom?
Yep.
Thank you, and Mr. Mohammed, you're here in the courtroom. I'm going to administer an oath in a moment here, and then all this is sworn testimony of both Officer Lurch and you, and then determine if this ticket was properly issued. Do you have any questions before we begin? Would you both please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth under penalty of perjury, Officer Lurch?
I do.
And Salim Mohammed.
I do.
And Officer, if you'd like to begin.
Okay. I do have this was captured on my body camera if you want to view that. This was a no parking zone ticket. Saturday, March 21st of this year, approximately 11:13 p.m. I noticed the vehicle had been parked in front of Harper's and along Albert. It was in the no parking zone there, right in front of Harper's, obstructing traffic. I issued it the no parking zone instead of the obstructing traffic ticket to save some money. A little quick, when I reviewed the body camera, if you want to, I can show it.
Why don't you do that? Would you like to see the body cam?
No,
The video?
no, I don't.
Are you contesting the ticket?
Did you just he finished?
Well, I'm just trying to, if you're contesting the ticket, then I don't need to know the facts.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think we should just see it, officer. Thank you.
Can you see that?
I can, yes.
Okay, so you can see here, I mean, this is before I had even activated it. I was just coming out of the 7-Eleven parking lot. You can see the vehicle here. This
Okay.
white, I say SUV, but it's kind of more of a van. So I go over here to approach this vehicle and I'll skip ahead. This is me sighting the vehicle. So at this point, it had been there for at least 2 minutes. I have no idea how long it was there before I exited the 7-Eleven parking lot.
Okay. And it's that white van that we saw?
Yes.
Okay.
At this point, there was a fight that happened. So I crossed the street and to get out of traffic because I knew the officers would be coming.
I see. Okay.
And then he comes over and argues with me for at least a couple minutes. And then, I mean, officers had been coming to the area at this point, and he's still parked there well into the 5 minutes. So he had been parked there for several minutes at the time. And like I said, I only wrote the no parking zone ticket, not the obstructing traffic ticket.
Okay. Thank you, officer. Mr. Mohammed, what would you like the court to know?
I'm Uber driver. So on March 2021, sorry, 21st, at 11:06, I got request from passenger pick up from Harvard. So I was at Plaza on Hagedorn and Grand River. I was sitting there in the parking lot, and I have a proof. So would like to see.
Well, I just saw what I just saw. So you were parked in a no parking zone for over 5 minutes. So what do you want to tell me that would make you not responsible for this ticket?
Because when I had it was 11:06 p.m.
Okay.
So he gave me a ticket here, says 11:13 p.m.
Right.
So I was on Hagedorn and Grand River when someone requested me at 11:06 p.m. So I came here to Harvard Bar to pick up people. So usually, when I get there, I send a message to people to let them know I have arrived. And they say, okay, we are on our way. So it took like 2 or 3 minutes. And by the way, we have an Uber policy. After 5 minutes, if rider did not show up, I have to cancel. I have a right to cancel, and I get paid for it. So even before 5 minutes, he came, and I had no idea because I lost so many people there. He was behind the car, but it was night, and so many people waiting on the line. He gave me a ticket. What he did, he did the ticket on the handle and the door handle, and he walked away. He did not talk to me. I was inside my vehicle. He did not ask me what I'm doing here, or he asked me I cannot park here. He didn't say anything to me. And
So I'm just curious to decide if the law was followed. Officer Lurch is under no obligation to talk to someone. He can either give you the ticket right there, or he can mail you the ticket. That's what the court will say. And are you saying there wasn't a sign that's a no parking zone, or are you suggesting that it was a no parking zone?
yes, it was the sign was but on it says no parking, but I'm not parking. I'm stopping to pick up people. So when he gave me ticket, the people already in my car, and he walked away. And I told them, I said, please give me 1 minute. I'll talk to him. Why he's giving me a ticket? And I'm going to talk to him. So why give me a ticket? I'm Uber driver. I'm not parking here. And I was inside my car. I wait for them, as you know. So people drunk. So I need to be in the right location. People when they are drunk, they don't know what they're doing. So as a driver, I'm responsible for their safety, and I'm not parking. Excuse me. I'm not doing. I'm not doing like DoorDash. Park my car and I walk to the inside the restaurant and pick up the food. I was a Uber driver and I have this proof showing the date and the time. So he said parking, but I'm not parking, and he did it on an unprofessional way because he did not ask me. If he give me warning, for example, hey, if I see you next time, don't park here. But next time, I give you a ticket.
And again, we're here because you requested a legal hearing, all these things that, might be, this is how you want the police officers to operate, but there's no legal obligation for any of these warnings or anything that you're saying. So, Officer Lurch, how long is the video that you showed the court?
At least 5 minutes.
Okay, so that's a 5-minute video that is sort of untested and irrefutable proof that you were in that spot, that no parking zone for 5 minutes, and the car stopped. You're in park, you were parked for 5 minutes. Your job's hard, don't get me wrong. I just look at that and it's busy, and you're right, there's people that are intoxicated and you have to be really, really safe and careful. But where you were parked is also dangerous. And then apparently there were police coming. We can all see why that was just not a good place for you to park. I don't have all the solutions of how you should have done this differently, but you can't park outside of Harper's in a no parking zone for 5 minutes, like close to midnight on a Saturday night. So my only job here today is to find, did the city prove by preponderance of the evidence that this ticket was properly issued? I see based on the video and that it's corroborated by Officer Lurch's testimony that it did. So the city has met their burden and I find you responsible. You can pay or appeal this ticket within 7 days.
So I have a question for you, please.
Okay.
So the same guy, a week later, I was at the Walgreens and I was out and people waiting for me. I did not stop. I saw him pick up the vehicle and he can't give me other tickets. And I have not been waiting 1 minute. They were waiting for me and they asked me, are you selling? I said, yes. And they get in the car and I saw he was behind me. And I got out of the car. I said, why are you giving me a ticket? He said, because you're buying. I said, I'm not buying.
So you need to look up the definition of park under the law. And if you don't like how the city of East Lansing is enforcing their parking laws, you can go to the city council, but my job, I can't change the law and I certainly can't tell Officer Lurch how to do his job. But all I can do is say was the law properly followed. And, it was.
I'm not asking you request to complete the law, but I see this is not fair. The trip I got $9.50 and I have to pay $35 now.
Well, that
This is not fair. This is not fair, you know, so I have to support, I have a family, I have to support my family, you know, and I have gas, I have everything, I have skills. So, and I did not, he said, truck, so the truck was open, was that, and I was four-way flusher. Did you see,
So, the hearing is over, and what you can do now, Officer Thomas can give the judgment, it's $35, you can pay that ticket, or you can appeal, sir, and if you want to appeal, that would go before another judge, and the attorney would be involved, and you could have a lawyer represent you if you wanted, and it would be a more formal hearing. Do that. If you want that, you go downstairs, you say I would want to request a formal hearing, you'll pay $35 as a bond, that'll be held pending the result of that formal hearing. But we're done today, so if you have more to say on the matter, that you can request a formal hearing.
I know, I'm going to pay it. But you guys, if you are making me, I'm not going to work for over anymore.
I mean, that might not be a bad thing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thanks, Officer Lurch. That's, I think, it for today.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Wonderful. This is 26BE 00834, People versus Quentin Emil Washington. Mr. Washington, today is the date and time set for your informal hearing. An informal hearing is civil in nature. It is not criminal. Nobody's going to jail today on their traffic ticket. However, it's considered serious enough that Officer Luca did issue the citation on the date in question. Mr. Washington, that date was February 12th of this year at about 1:30 in the afternoon. You were operating a 2023 Chevrolet black in color on Catalpa Avenue near Mortensen. In the city of Berkeley, at that place and time, you were cited for obeying a stop sign. Officer Luca's remark, which appears on your ticket, indicates Catalpa and Mortensen westbound. So this is a simple moving violation, and you have three options through which to protect your rights, Mr. Washington. You may admit responsibility. The court will attach a fine between 0 and the maximum, and that will close the case. Or you may admit responsibility with an explanation that you believe mitigates your circumstances. Your third option is to deny responsibility. Absolutely your right and privilege. If you do so, the court will conduct your trial forthwith, swear both parties under oath. The officer testifies first. It's their burden of proof. Then it is your turn to testify. Then the court makes the finding of responsible or not responsible. But please recall that since we are in civil court, that burden of proof is a mere preponderance of the evidence, known as the featherweight test, when compared against a heavy burden of guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. So with that said, Mr. Washington, as to disobey stop sign, do you wish to admit and explain, or deny responsibility?
Deny.
Very well. Please
Right.
raise your right hands. Your other right hand? Do you both solemnly swear the testimony you shall give before this court shall be the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. Officer Luca, please proceed. Put your hands down, sir. Somehow you ended up muted, Officer Luca.
How's that? Sorry about that. Good morning. February 12th, shortly after 1 o'clock, I was setting up for a detail at Mortensen and Catalpa for a stop sign. We begin a lot of complaints for that particular stop sign. So I was just getting into position. I don't even know if I put my vehicle in park when I observed a black sedan drive right through the stop sign, traveling westbound, not even stop. I do have dash cam footage from the vehicle. However, it is on my phone. The quality isn't the greatest, but if the court decides, I will be glad to show that. So,
if you wish, you can hold that in reserve for rebuttal if you believe
Okay.
that it's necessary. But as far as direct testimony goes, Officer Luca, do you have anything further at this moment?
I do not.
Very well. Mr. Washington, it is your turn. What would you like to tell the court?
Well, Your Honor, so I was driving, so I seen the stop sign. I did stop, and I looked both ways. I didn't come to a complete stop, I will admit, but I stopped very much enough to, take both of my directions. And I,
Mhm. Is there
and
anything else you want the court to know?
um, I'm a careful driver, and I already seen the police officer. I seen the police officer before I even came to a stop. So I seen the police officer. I stopped, looked both ways. Well, I didn't come to a complete stop, but I stopped enough to check my directions, and I proceeded. And I did see the police officer hit his lights, so I kind of already pulled over because I had a feeling that he was going to pull me over.
Okay. All right. The court appreciates your remarks. Is there anything else you want the court to know other than what you've already stated, Mr. Washington?
Um, yeah, well, I drive for a living. I do DoorDash like a lot, and
Mhm.
I do mobile credit detailing, so I own my own business. So I
Okay.
kind of try to stay careful when I'm driving. So that's
Okay.
all.
All right. Thank you very much. Turning
Oh.
back to Officer Luca, rebuttal testimony.
Yes, sir, Your Honor. I have that dash cam footage I'd like to show the court if you allow.
No worries at all.
Okay, I'm gonna do my best. I know I have to talk while it's gonna be
That's
playing.
okay.
So as you'll see it, I'll play it a couple times. I'm just trying to get the camera right. I'm just getting into position here. Should be, you'll see right in the right, I'm sorry, right there. You'll see a vehicle, black sedan, drive right through, and we'll play it again here. Let's, let's do my best to. Oh,
You're doing fine.
sorry.
You're
We'll
good.
try and play it one more time for you, sir. And it'll be right in the right-hand corner. You'll see a black sedan. I didn't even get to stop yet, and it rolled right through. They never made an attempt to stop from my observation.
Okay. And just looking at the intersection as a diagram, your car was facing which compass point direction?
I was facing southbound,
You were facing southbound. Okay.
so it's just north of Catalpa.
So if you're facing southbound, presumably he's coming from the east.
Yes, he's coming from the east, going westbound.
Okay. And that is the vehicle that you recall performing a traffic stop on?
Yes, sir.
All right. During that investigatory traffic stop, what, if anything, was discussed with Mr. Washington?
So I asked him if he's seen the stop sign. He said, yeah, he slowed down enough to look both ways. Admitted he didn't stop. Then when asked what was possibly the rush, he stated he was going to, I think he was with the passenger. They were going to Taco Bell, I believe.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. The court has heard the testimony in the matter of people of the city of Berkeley versus Quentin Emil Washington. The court first notes that this is a civil infraction of a non-criminal nature, and being a civil infraction, the burden of proof is a mere preponderance of the evidence, quantified at 50.1%. Secondly, the court has absolutely no idea what Mr. Washington's prior driving record may or may not look like. The court doesn't review driving records before its docket. It judges each and every case on the merits before it. And thirdly, the court, after 40 years in and around the courts in the state of Michigan, always wishes to believe that the parties are proceeding in good faith based upon their best recollection and perception of the events. The court notes that the video is not by definition dispositive, but extremely helpful. The court notes that one of the very first traffic misdemeanors in all of motoring history occurred in the city of London in 1893. That was a year before the concept of video was even invented. Video is not necessary, but it is an investigatory tool. It does have evidentiary weight, and it is helpful. The court is convinced by a preponderance of the evidence that Mr. Washington is in fact responsible for the citation. This matter carries with it a $150 fine that is payable through the pay portal on the 44th District Court, Mr. Washington, or you can walk a cash check or charge into this court at 400 East 11 Mile Road, Monday through Friday between 8:30 and 4:30. That's due within 7 days. But Mr. Washington, if you wish to appeal this court's ruling, you have every right to do so by posting a $150 bond with the court. Within 7 days, the matter gets placed on a formal hearing docket. And at that time, the city of Berkeley would be represented by a city prosecutor. So 150 as a bond or a fine within 7. Please mind your speed. It's getting to be even a more heightened driving season. Good luck to you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Is Mr. Lucido here?
I've just asked him to unmute.
I am here. I am here. Okay, I do see you, sir.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes, I can.
Okay. How about now?
And all right. Officer Rock is here as well. I'd ask you to both raise your right hands, please. And do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. I do.
All right. Deputy, if you'd go ahead, please.
Following routine patrol out on M32 West near Flat Road, I observed a gray Toyota moving at a high rate of speed. I activated my moving radar and clocked him at 70 in a 55 zone. I had good tone the entire time. At that time, I turned around and followed the Toyota. Excuse me. I paced it between 65 and 67 miles an hour before I activated my lights and stopped it at that point. At that point, I made contact and issued a citation for the speed.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Lucido, what would you like to say?
Yes, I was driving. It's a very winding road. It's back in October. It was a blood moon. It's a very dark road. It's a winding road. I had him come up to me. I did not know it was an officer. At a very high rate of speed. He got close to my rear end. I just got the car out of the shop from hitting a deer. It cost me, $10,000, my wife's car. So he's coming up close. I'm like, man, I must be driving too slow. I'm not familiar with the area. So I speed up a little bit. He comes a little closer. I speed up some more. He comes a little closer. Next thing you know, his lights come on. It's a cop. And no, I don't believe that was justified. I believe he pushed me into a ticket. I wouldn't have sped. I volunteered to East Jordan in a community band. I drove over an hour to go there. I come back. Like I said, I just got the car out of the shop. My wife had hit a deer. We didn't even have 200 miles on the car. I was out of a car for 2 months. We just got the car back, and it's crazy out there. But he came up on me, got up close to my rear end, and I just thought, oh, I'm going too slow, but there's no passing zone. I thought, well, I just speed up a little bit, thinking he would eventually pass. And then I sped up a little bit. He speeds up more. It took a good 30 seconds, 40 seconds. He was on my rear end before I sped up a little bit before he pulled me over. That's what I have to say, Your Honor. It's a new car. I don't have a problem paying a ticket. I can't get points on that car. I've got a good record. I've never been in trouble in my life. I don't mind making a donation to the courts, but I don't need 2 points on my insurance will double. And I just believe that was an injustice.
It is not.
Go ahead.
It is not a donation to the court. It goes to the county, not the court. And anything like that. Deputy Rock, did you, and I've forgotten already, but was he going the same way you were when you first saw him, or was he going the opposite direction?
I believe he was operating the opposite direction, and I had to turn around to catch up with him.
Good. Okay, when you first, did you clock him by radar initially?
Yes,
I mean, I know you saw him and you thought he was going fast, but what was the first reading that you had on radar?
It was a 70 with a steady tone.
Okay, and that's what I recalled. And Mr. Lucido, he wrote you for 60 and a 55. I know what you're saying, and we all might get a little nervous if there's a police officer right behind us, but he had clocked you at 70 going the other way. And I'm not doubting you if you truly don't have a record. The one thing the Michigan Secretary of State does, and they're the ones who assess the points, not the court. The Michigan Secretary of State has an online test you can take And this is, I believe, a 2-point offense. That will eliminate at least one of those points, assuming you can pass it. And it's a very simple test. You'll have no problems with it. So, but I am going to find you responsible. The fine is $115. Are you able to pay that today, or do you need some time?
I'm going to turn it over to a lawyer. I believe I'm still wronged. I have a lawyer that's
Okay.
going to look at this.
Okay, that's fine. Let me just tell you how you do that, just so you know what you need to do. Do you have 10 days or 14? You have 14 days from today's date to pay the fine. What it is, it's put into escrow. And what you're asking for and what you should put on it is a demand, quote unquote, a demand for a formal hearing. That allows you to have a lawyer involved. This is what's called an informal hearing. You're not allowed to have a lawyer at it, but it's a new hearing. It's not an appeal. So you'll both be starting from scratch on that. It'll be before somebody different. It won't be in front of me. So it's a whole brand new thing, but remember, you have to pay it. It's held in escrow for that. So just make sure you do that within 2 weeks from today.
From in 2 weeks. Okay, my lawyer's out of town. He won't be back till after the holidays. So once this is over, I'll get a hold of him, and then he'll get a hold of the court.
But you can file it anyway. You don't need to wait for your lawyer. And then he can get involved when he's back in town.
Okay, I'm not going to pay until I talk to my lawyer, Your Honor. I appreciate that, but you didn't hear anything I said. When he said he turned around, there was complete blackness out there. There was nobody that turned around. It was complete blackness.
I'm not going to argue it. I mean,
Okay,
you're entitled to your
okay.
opinion. I have to make a decision, but I just want you said you're not going to pay it until you talk to your lawyer. I just want you to be sure you understand that if you don't pay it within 2 weeks,
Yeah.
in escrow, you lose your right to a formal hearing.
I understand. I got 2 weeks.
Yep, exactly. All right. We're all set then. Thank you.
Yeah, bye-bye.